Welcome to Four Raving Lunatics. I'm Rob,
I'm Joe.
James.
and guess on today's episode we're gonna talk about villains, our five favorite movie villains. So,
That's our main topic. We'll try to get this stuff out. We'll put next week's out hopefully by the day. I'd like to get some input before, that way we can discuss if anybody had, like if your favorite villains, you can list them for the week. If there's anything cool or clever, then we can comment on it. So at least it gives us a chance. And anyone that, of course, would interact during the show, we could still get some feedback. So, before we get to that, though, do you guys have any pet peeves for the week? I know we haven't really been big on that. I know we've gone away from some of our other stuff, which is great, but
I'm not a fan of labor costs per hour to have cars worked on. That seems like it's a ripoff.
yeah, well, I mean, when brakes cost like $200, and it's like, well, the parts are only like 60. So
Well, like on my car, after I got everything done,
labor's $60 an hour. I don't get paid $60 an hour.
They said the rear toe assembly, I don't know what that is. They said they were frozen, so they sprayed them to try to loosen them up. Wanted me to come back a couple days to whatever the hell their use is. And I was asking the guy right before I left, like, what it is and how much it might cost, because I did just shell out a shit ton of money. And he said, the part's a couple dollars, could be about $100, put it on. If they got to replace it. And I was like, oh, so the part costs next to nothing, and I'm going to have to pay like $100 to have you all touch it.
I mean, it would be different if these places were these immaculate businesses that it's like, oh, clearly my money's going to overhead or something here.
Right.
But
It's like you're running it out of your garage. You're paying your cousin, Daryl,
But
to help.
every time I want
Y'all are
to,
standing up and down, jumping up and down on wrenches trying to turn bolts.
every time I want to, think about finding out where a good place to go take a car is that might be cheaper or better, or somebody knows somebody, because I don't know anybody that works on cars to where I could get a deal. Then they do stuff like, because there was a screw in my tire, which is why it was losing air. Since they didn't have another tire of the same make, they just threw one on, didn't charge me. That was nice considering they were charging me $900 to work on my car, but hey.
I know someone who can get you a deal. He can get you a great deal.
No, I know what he did to your car.
Well,
fair enough.
And then I heard you utter the words, I don't care if it's to change, I don't remember what you said, he's never looking at my car again.
maybe change the oil. It might have been the oil. I don't know. My pet peeve is related to retail. It's inventory prep. I hate pre-counting. That's all.
Here,
I just hate pre-counting.
over this way.
Hate
Smith.
counting things.
I hate counting things in large amounts when there's several hundred in sections. I'd then get bothered. I'd be pulled away. Then I forget where I'm at. It's like, just do inventory and all that stuff on overnights.
I thought I'd avoided inventory by coming in at 1, but no. I had to count what I view as the worst part of all of inventory. Nobody agrees with me because they're like, I've been here since 4, having to recount stuff. I had to count the greeting cards. Each section had 300 plus, then this one wall of 8 feet-ish had 600 itself. So I counted over 4,000 things, and one of the walls I kept getting distracted, and even Eli said something to me, and then all of a sudden it's like, damn it, start it over again. So I don't care how many times they had to count the boys section of an aisle, they didn't have to count greeting cards.
My pet peeve, I went back through some retail experiences, tried to find something that might be amusing to everyone. And here's mine, is Why is it that people feel the need to stand in line and wait for a store to open, and then complain that they had to wait outside? Like if it's raining, if it's snowing, like you're the person who chose to get out of your vehicle and come and stand here at the door and wait for us to open. Like we're not supposed to open till whatever time.
Nobody's forcing you to do this.
Nobody's forcing you to do this. So why are you complaining to us? Like we didn't do that. Like we're just following the set schedule. So I don't understand the mindset of that. And it was always a pet peeve. Like I can't believe that. And then just come in, not saying anything to you personally, but just complaining under their breath that they were out in the rain or snow or their kids were. It's like you're the bright human being that done that.
Can I get a second one?
Yep.
It's related to the new Deadpool movie coming out. These people petitioning for a PG-13 cut. Why do you want to take your kids to see a movie about a superhero that is vulgar and violent? Why do I need to tone down something when it's completely optional for you to experience it?
Well, because I guarantee the kids of said person saw the trailers. It was like, well, this looks funny. I want to go see it. Probably not the Red Band trailer, because then their parent would. That means they're a bad parent. But I'm sure that they saw the trailer, they thought was funny, and they brought it up like, well, no, it's R-rated. You shouldn't get to see it. Kid threw a fit, and all of a sudden it's like, well, how come my kid can't do what everybody else in the world's going to do? It's like, it's an R-rated movie.
Well,
it's
that's
made
what I
for
was
a
going to
certain
say.
people.
Like, when do we get to the point where kids have to do everything? Like, is it going to get to the point where it's like, my kid needs to be able to handle a handgun, so...
I don't want to limit the growth and potential in the next generation. They are our future, James.
But, I mean, look, in the 50s, there were clearly dividing lines. Like, okay, you're too young for this. You don't need to do this. And
kids don't smoke. Kids don't drink with mom and dad.
Yeah.
And when they're playing cards at the table, they're in the other room playing with their toys or out riding their bicycles.
I don't get how it's like, well, we want to be a family, so you need to be included in everything.
Well, it's the same.
Sex, violence, drugs, rock and roll, whatever.
It's almost the same thing as when I went to see the second Star Trek movie. Me and Andrew were in the theater, and somewhere up front, this mom had her, obviously in a carrier, baby that started crying midway through the movie. Like, why would you bring a toddler to a movie?
I said that they need to have a child-free movie theater, but that's just going to make everyone hate me.
What about a parent? What about a parent box?
That's just kind of gross. Anyway,
What?
don't worry about it. I'll tell you when you're older.
I get what you want.
A parent box?
No, I mean, I don't
enclosed-
enjoy kids screaming during a movie. I actually, one of the movies I was at, these people got into an altercation about the kid that was screaming because people are awesome. And I'm not just there, though, even like eating out and stuff. It's like if you have kids who are being
Would
brats,
you be willing to pay more for whatever it is for them to provide a child section that's away from the mass? For instance, if they charged $5 more a ticket, would you be willing to pay the $5 more to know that you're going to a movie where there's no kids whatsoever?
Yes. I would.
Well,
No, even though you don't have kids, you would still be willing to shell out?
Well, when I went to watch the Star Wars movie, there were like 4 school buses there, and I was like, man, if I go in and there's 4
School buses with
bunch
the
of kids
kids.
in here, like I'm going to leave.
James Holmes.
and it's just going to be a waste.
well, when restaurants
Now I'm
used
going to watch
to,
this.
when restaurants used to, and I'm old enough to remember, have, especially Bob Evans, behind that partition, here's where you can smoke. Here's the rest of the people that don't want to smoke, don't necessarily want to be near it. You didn't pay extra for that.
But I'm talking at a theater, if they were to provide childcare or provide a section where there's child stuff, entertainment,
And
be it a movie or be it something else, you still got to have some sort of an adult supervision that they have to pay extra for.
And I want to clarify something. I used to always say that there should be a child care center in in retail stores so that you could have someone watch your child while you shop, which I thought would be a nice thing for parents. So everything that I think isn't just related for child free, both ways. Like, but my thing is, people are like, well, you mean bastard. How can you I don't know. Everyone hates people who don't want children. So I just want to say, like, I
don't want to further the species.
So I'm a bad person if somehow I don't want a baby in a movie theater while I'm enjoying a picture, but am I a good person if I walk by and somebody's like breastfeeding a kid and I'm like, gross?
That's another one of those subjects where you're treading on thin ice.
I know, but it's almost the same thing where
Calm down, Hitler.
You have to be accepting of this one thing, but this other thing was like, no, that's no.
I can't be anti-censorship and then complain about breastfeeding.
Yeah.
I mean...
Fight the man. You keep up that fight, James.
The theater should be...
Even Trent Reznor works for Apple.
Well, I was at trivia years back when me, Andrew, and people used to go play. And at some point, and it was on a Thursday night, they used to do the Hooters. At some point, this big family came in, little kids, everything, and the trivia didn't start till 8 o'clock, so it's later anyway. And somebody, like, of course we didn't watch our language, it's Hooters. Like, I don't expect there to be toddlers.
Somebody got mad because...
Well, they didn't get mad. Somebody came over and asked, because we were at a table by ourselves. We weren't...
Please tell me they brought kids into Hooters. I mean, it's a family establishment.
We
all know that.
It's a restaurant, but it's also later. It's beers everywhere. There's trivia going on. And we're not necessarily shouting obscenities to a team across, but... we're not necessarily censoring ourselves. And a lady came over, asked somebody, was like, can you guys kind of watch the language a bit? She was nice about it, but...
Shit, no.
Well, she was nice about it, so we did, but after they left, it got into the argument of, why would you bring kids into, a place like this, and also at like 9 o'clock at night?
My mom was telling me about a customer, a 4-day-old infant, on the day that it snowed and was real cold, needed to go furniture shopping. So they brought the infant, 4 days old, out into the weather and needs to go. And Mom's like, wow. That's impressive. Like, just, you all need hit with a car.
Probably a first-time parent.
Well, we had people waiting in line this morning before we opened, and several of them had infants in carriers. And it's like, what is wrong with all of you?
No,
you're not the first.
8 degrees at technical 8 degrees when it was about 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
I don't know what the wind chill was.
Cold.
I mean, there may be some circumstance where they didn't have someone to watch their child, but...
So before we get into this, what's your Super Bowl prediction of who's going to play?
I think that I think Carolina will end up playing. I want to say that they'll play the Broncos, but they'll probably play New England.
Denver's got a good defense.
I don't know who can beat Carolina right now. I mean, I really don't. I actually think. I don't think they will, though. I think that whoever wins between the Cardinals and the Panthers will win. Like, I think they're the best two teams out of the four that are left. And the Cardinals have a good defense, too. I just don't think they're as good as Carolina. They were crushing them in Seattle when they came back.
Yeah, Seattle came back, though.
Yeah, but...
I mean, they didn't have enough to...
Cam Newton is playing pretty good this year, too. But I'll hate it if Peyton Manning goes to the Super Bowl and loses again. It will be like that.
Hurt your feelings?
I don't think he has anything left. I don't know how he's played since he came back from his injury, but I probably would have left Osweiler in. Just because.
Well, I mean, based on what I've seen, it's more of a he can identify. Okay, we need to run now. So here.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to get like destroyed.
No, just based on the read of the defense. Like, okay, we need to run, and I need to call. Instead of running here, we're going to run over here. So he just understands the game a lot more, and it makes it to where even if it's a running game that they're playing, that they have a better chance.
True.
But I don't know. I was wondering. I had this whole big thing. I was like, why don't people just bet? Like, if I just take $400, I bet $100 on all 4 underdogs every time there's like a Final Four. Wouldn't there be? I mean, what's the chances that all 4 underdogs are going to lose? And I figure all 4 underdogs between them would all at least have 4-to-1 odds or better. So I would at least win the $400 back at the worst. But then all of the favorites won. So, but I thought that was pretty good logic.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah, but to make up your losses, somebody'd have to have
7-to-1 odds.
good odds. Was that for the?
But I mean, I was thinking like because of the whole Rousey thing, like clearly I need to bet on every underdog, like they had every long shot anyway, for going forward. Like think about the Giants and the Patriots. Like even if it's $10.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I started thinking, well, why don't I just pick all the dogs this weekend? Like going into the next one, who's New England and Arizona are the underdogs. So it's like you bet the 2 underdogs. One of them has to have at least like 4-to-1, 4-to-1 odds against them, right?
Maybe, I don't know. NFL never had good odds because I used to do the parlay cards. I missed all that. It's fun.
Anyway. Alright, let's get to our top 5 villains. Who you got?
No particular order. Nova from Skyfall. James Bond's Skyfall. I felt like he was James Bond's Joker. Equal or better in every way. Step ahead, always cut him off the pass. It was nice to see someone knock James Bond down a peg or two. Nothing particularly like violent or horrifying about it. Just it was nice to see somebody as good or better than James Bond at his own game.
I still haven't watched it yet.
Oh, that's sad.
I own the movie.
It's a slower burn than the other Craig movies.
Yeah, I don't like it just because it's so long. Like it's
It is a long movie.
if it was 2 parts, it would be better for me.
It is a long movie.
But
it came out
The ending of
Christmas.
Quantum of Solace though makes me dislike it more. I just don't like
I'm really into it
I don't
until
remember how Quantum Solace
he
ended.
gets out. Like
Yeah.
there's that part, and it's just kind of like, okay, now it's slowed down a little bit.
Yeah.
And
It is a much slower movie than the previous 2. That's for sure.
I'll watch it at some point. When the new one comes out, I'll finally watch Skyfall, then watch it.
Yeah, I want to see that one
Oh God, I'm gonna start out with Pennywise from It, the clown.
I haven't seen it in a very long time.
It's one of those movies I wish was longer.
I was wondering if Bob actually understood that I wasn't really suggesting to Andrew to get a clown for his daughter's birthday party, but I'm not sure.
I tuned out that conversation. I saw you suggest the clown, and then I was just like, I'm done with that. Like,
Anyway,
we're done here.
Tuning
out.
The Pennywise was technically, because there's a Stephen King wiki that goes into this weird history of Pennywise. I looked up.
Stay off the internet.
No, I was curious about. I like backstories, and with all Stephen King stuff, there's a little mythos about Pennywise.
Have you read it?
I haven't read it.
Okay.
My older brother has, and that's one of his. He's a big Stephen King fan too. But Pennywise is technically the embodiment of evil. It's some sort of evil being that's always existed from some sort of universe.
I was
Kills
trying to
it
think,
well.
like Spectre was. I went and watched it, right? Like that's. It was out last year.
Spectre?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You watched it in theaters?
Yeah.
Huh.
was trying to
Wow.
think.
You saw a movie in theaters? I didn't. Whoa.
We're on overnights. What you got?
Oh, yeah. You didn't have to do it.
It was free.
Let's go with Leatherface.
Particular reason?
Because the movie I thought was scary as hell. I just like the way it was shot, and we talked about it a little bit with our Halloween thing. It's realistic. I remember when I was little seeing it, and actually, like when you're little and it's on TV, you kind of think it's the news the way that it comes on and stuff.
Right.
And something that could actually happen because it was kind of a mixture of serial killers. So that'd be one.
Oh, I guess it's me again, huh?
Oh no, I was never. I haven't watched either of those because I don't really care about movies like that.
Well, the thing with that though is like, I don't know that he's really a villain. Like he doesn't really have a role.
Well, I mean, still he's the bad guy and he does villainous things, so he fills the spot.
That movie is just like, I don't. You would think that of character traits and a personality, there's not really that in that movie. Like,
No,
unless it would be the Hitchhiker.
Yeah.
It's
It's kind of just like looking through a window and watching things. It's not really like you're following.
there's not
It's not a following a character and watching him
develop. There's no story. To
right. It's just
it.
person A walks into random place. Bah! Like, that's who that guy ran from. Alright, that guy's menacing. That guy's gonna attack these other people. Like, there's no...
It's like watching the news without you getting a backstory of what happened, like who these people are. Like if you're just seeing a news clip, it's like, what's going on with this? And then usually after somebody shows a news clip, it's like, and this is John, and John
Of
works
the major
blah, blah, blah.
slasher villains, he's definitely the one with the most interesting
Like you
origin story,
Yeah, you
but
have no
not
idea
really an
what's going
origin
on.
story. Like, this is where he comes from, this is what happens, and he came from. It's like, okay. He's definitely the most interesting rather than, just a sick kid who grows up to be a killer, or a pervert who grows up to be a killer, or a little retarded boy who has to make mama proud. I don't know. It's definitely the most interesting.
Yeah, but the pervert was burned alive and came back to kill people in their dreams.
Yeah, that's a neat idea and stuff, but it's not. It's very cliche.
It
Whereas
can't be cliche.
Leatherface is not
It
cliche.
can't be cliche because it was the first to do that.
if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. I mean,
I watched a little bit of the during Halloween because my brother was watching all the AMC Horror Fest and all those. They had the newer one that they did. Was it Rob Zombie that did it?
Of Leatherface, of
Yeah.
Chainsaw.
no.
No,
Well, there's
Rob Zombie only did Halloween.
well the newest one. I watched a little bit of the beginning and I just couldn't get into it. It was just done.
I haven't seen the newest one.
I haven't either. But the reason that I like the old one too is because I'm from the middle of nowhere. So it's like you can walk down the road and see
A house.
a house that look like that, and all of the instruments that are just hanging out in the tool shed.
Now I did see the one with Arlie Ernie in it. It's not
All
the newest one.
Right.
There was one in the
Texas
90s
Chainsaw
with-
Massacre.
Yeah.
The one he's talking about, the Texas
It's,
Chainsaw.
it's just it's just chains. Yeah, Texas Chainsaw.
I think so.
Or is it
Maybe
just
it's Chainsaw.
Chainsaw? I don't remember.
I
What
think
it's
it's
called.
an origin story. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Yeah.
They like rebooted it again because the one with
started-
Arlie Ernie had it, and then there was a prequel to it.
Yeah.
And then they waited a couple years and came out with this one, and this one got generally crappy reviews. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
They're all one of the movies, and Rob and I have talked about before. They're just hard for me to watch. Like, I can watch movies once. I just don't need to see people be tortured numerous times.
Yeah, I saw Hostel once.
Seven Saw.
It wasn't.
Yes.
Hostel wasn't the greatest. There was boobs in it, but who cares? It was stupid. And there's a lot of nasty, weird torture. Nasty's not the right word. It's not like I was grossed out, but I don't need to.
Movies.
I don't need to watch it again.
Tell you what's messed up is Human Centipede 3. That's a messed up movie. The one and 2 were like, okay. They said they were bad. These aren't that bad. I've seen weird things.
Why does the trailer sound like it's a comedy?
And because it's kind of funny. They let the main character go psycho in the movie, and he really I think he should get an award for how he acted because he's so insane. But it's a really bad movie. It's awful. Had to be on here. I couldn't get around it. The Joker, and specifically Heath Ledger's Joker.
You have that too?
No,
I do. So a little more get off.
I was trying to. Part of
I think he just reinvented the Joker in a way that was very, very appealing.
Psychotic.
Yeah, I think, and I think. Help me out. Guy playing Lex Luthor.
Jesse Eisenberg.
I think he's going to do the same thing for Lex Luthor in this movie. I think people see him and go, I can't imagine that. And then when it actually happens, and same with Jared Leto. I think Jared Leto's going to do a good job. Maybe not quite as impactful as.
They always had those pictures where it kind of listed different villains, and they always had him under the chaotic evil or chaotic chaos because he does chaotic things for the sake of doing it. No reason, no planning, just does it.
And that's appealing to me.
I think Jared Leto's is going to be a lot more, not Jack Nicholson, but I don't know if it'd be chaotic. His may be a lot more evil and sinister. Not Heath Ledger's, to where he was just actually kind of wacko and would just blow up something on a whim because, hey,
it made him giggle.
It's Wednesday.
All right.
Well, where he said he had the Joker, I thought about this and I was like, I'm going to pick people that I know they're not going to have. So, I'm going to go with the Jackal from the Jackal, Bruce Willis's character.
I've not seen it.
No?
95 when it came out, seen it. So
I remember when it came out. I just never watched it.
He is a assassin, contract killer, and the movie portrays him as one of the best because he hides, always has disguises, and in that movie he's just brutal, kills at will. One of the better scenes in it is he's going to kill them with this big Gatling gun, and Jack Black makes them the base for it. And when he's testing it, it's weird Jack Black's in it. This is an early role. He's shooting it and it's off. So basically he forces Jack Black's character to run through this bog as he's testing the sights. He has him hold up a cigarette pack. So he's doing it. He's aiming at it. He shoots and it hits him right in the arm. Just explodes his arm. And while he's sitting there screaming, Bruce Willis just I told you it was off. Because he didn't build it right, but it's a good movie.
All right.
You should watch it at some point.
I want to. I don't know.
Actually, I'm going to bring it to work at one point and let you borrow it.
Okay, I'll watch it if you borrow it. Let me borrow it.
Like I said, I have the Joker, so we'll just
circle around.
Yep.
All right. The next one is Hans Landa. It's Christoph Waltz character from *Inglourious Bastards*, even though wasn't really a villain.
He kind of was.
Kind of was. I don't know. I thought he was
so polite and that.
Yeah, pleasant, and then just all right, shoot through the floor, just real one of those chess player villains.
He's a good actor.
Yeah. You could have him read me a book, and I'd be like, all right, let's do this.
I enjoy his Clash of Clans commercials.
I haven't seen him.
They're kind of funny.
Here you go.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Terminator from the first movie, since he turns into that kind of anti-hero hero in the next few. First movie where it's just this ruthless hunter trying to kill people, one person, and kills everything that literally gets in his way. Love that movie.
John Doe from Seven. Not in for very long.
I haven't seen Seven in a long time.
I haven't seen Seven.
But it's pretty odd. So
One of those movies that everybody's like, you need to see it.
That was the one where it was like the seven sins, whatnot.
Yeah.
I just remember at some point they come across some dead body, some big fat guy, and something about gluttony.
It's the first crime scene they go to.
It's been a long time since I've seen that movie, though.
He's pretty awesome, man. I like Kevin Spacey, but just, kind of nuts. He's only in it for 20 minutes, probably.
It's always good to be a notch off. All right. I guess my next one is the Indominus Rex from Jurassic World.
Because it's invincible.
Awesome killing machine. It was nice to see something run with the legacy that T-Rex started and just be an awesome killing machine. I mean, smarter, stronger, faster.
You talk about the horror movies with cliches. I like Jurassic World, but that was one of the most cliches where it's like, I know what's coming, I know what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, it followed Jurassic Park, just bigger
I was
and
surprised, though. I just assumed it was just the Velociraptor. Like, I didn't know there were multiple dinosaurs that went into it.
Which that was cool, but I don't know. It
definitely better than the Spinosaurus from number 3.
It's good. I like the movie. I'm not hating on it, but just the fact that they did the just sci-fi movies have been doing, where it's like this weird.
But the Titan versus Titan. Oh
no, just this cross-species thing that they made hybrid that's just killing people. But it was good.
But the way they approached it was
very
made Jurassic Parky.
It was better, but when I first kept hearing about it, how it's this big hybrid of different things, it just went into my head like, why they do that in so many movies? Nobody would do this in real life. They probably would, though.
Of course we would. Humans have to play God.
Yep.
Next.
I'm going to go with the Gremlins from both movies. Because they were just funny, chaos-driven. Both movies are entertaining, and what they do is
I'd go with
fun.
Mad Milo before I got with the Gremlins.
Gremlins are good. What they do is they're just little destruction on 2 little legs.
Do you have a specific one?
You really count as villains until you get them.
Yeah. Once they're Mogwai until they turn into Gremlins, then they're just destructive little beings. And the first one, the Mohawk Stripe, whatever, was the leader, and they ended up killing him in the store.
Critters.
In the second one, they had multiple. I think mainly the spider one was like the kind of main baddie-ish, but they had like the flying gargoyle one. They had the electric one, the one made of food. Like they just, it's like, here's the first movie. The second movie is like, watch this. Just did stuff for the sake of doing it. It was good. It was funny, and I enjoyed them as villains.
Yeah, I never really got close. Like, I never related to the Gremlins movies. They were like, okay, well, there's those.
I don't know. I mean, I know I've seen the second one, but the only one I really remember is the first one.
The second one's the one where it takes place in that
Movie,
skyscraper with I think John Glover's like the boss. And
seen it maybe when I was little.
I haven't seen it since I was a kid, either one of them.
I can't remember if it's Gizmo or somebody in the animal testing lab, and also, of course, from there, things just go haywire.
Talk about cliches. Test these things and things get out of hand.
I'm going to go with the odd one. I had a couple I was thinking about, and it's I think her name's Annie Wilkes from Misery.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty crazy.
That's the one, the hobbling. Right?
Kathy Bates.
Yeah, Kathy Bates. I was thinking about that earlier when you were talking about something, and I was like, I wonder if anybody...
When I was talking about torture.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's done awesome in it. I think she won an Academy Award for it. I'm not sure.
Might have.
But it's one of those things when you watch it, it's like, yeah, that's a pretty uncomfortable situation to be in.
Why hasn't anybody done that to J.K. Rowling? Write more Harry Potter. I gotta know what happened.
thought I saw that she was going to.
It's a stage play, but it's a sequel to. Anyway.
It'll be a movie at some point.
Who you got?
Last one is Otis from Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand
yeah.
Corpses. I just really like the character. He's psychotic. Beat someone to death with a stick. Beat him. No, I won't say that because that makes it sound like I like that. And I'm not into necrophilia. But there's nothing he won't do to be evil. Like, he is pure evil. There's no... And it was just...
No reason.
It was just fun to watch him be violent.
I haven't seen those movies.
You should. They're good, I would dare call them classic horror movies.
Rob likes senseless violence.
He knows that.
The world knows that.
Rob Zombie has a new movie coming out.
Yeah. That's, I don't know. I'm a little...
Did you
skeptical
watch
about
House of Salem?
Lord of Salem? Yeah, I didn't like it. Boring. Did you watch it?
No.
Yeah, he's...
Yeah.
I had a tough time. I was thinking of Predator. I was thinking of Dr. Lecter, because Hannibal's a good one. I'm going with Dr. Evil. To go out of left field. He's a villain, and it's funny. Thank you, Rob.
I don't know that I've seen any of those movies either.
That's sad.
I mean, I've
Wait, what?
Austin
Mike
Powers.
Myers. Yeah, I'm not a big Mike Myers fan. Like Wayne's World, maybe. Just
Love
because
Wayne's
I
World.
was young when it came out, but
Although I have an honorable mention of an inanimate object, because I didn't really consider it when I saw it, but the One Ring from Lord of the Rings, because it does kind of, it is concentrated evil, technically,
well,
and it is guiding everybody to, at some point, do kind of dark things.
I was thinking like Lecter. Cause I really enjoy that movie a whole lot. Like it's one of my favorite movies.
Last horror movie to win Best Picture.
But I don't think he's really the villain in it. Like he's not the bad guy in it.
No, but he's the villain that stands
Perpetrator of
out.
bad things.
Buffalo Bill's just, he's the main villain, but then you have this side villain that you learn about, this Hannibal that ate people and whatnot, and you almost have to read the books to know about him.
I mean, but even all through the books, like you never really think like you never want him to get caught, and I kind of think of as the villain you want them to get. I don't know. Maybe the Joker would be the same thing. Like you don't want.
I don't want Otis to get caught.
I don't know.
Especially
I don't
when
know.
you watch the movies, Anthony Hopkins.
Well, how about
is-
this? I look at the villain as someone who's causing the problem, and I don't think he's causing the problem. I think he might deter them catching him in some way. Like he knows who it is. He doesn't just say, "Hey, this is who the killer is. You can go get the girl that they have." He's like, "If you can figure out my riddle, you can find her."
I guess so, because even in Hannibal, when he's
So he's an
free,
accessory to a bad guy.
even in Hannibal, when he's free, he's not the main. That one weird dude in the wheelchair is the main villain that's trying to catch Hannibal.
I mean,
He's kind of there, and it's one of those, he's there, and you know what he's done is this bad person, but there's somebody else there's the main villain.
it's all about Dollhide or whatever is from Red Dragon, but you guys might not have
I
seen
haven't
it.
seen that for...
I saw Red Dragon.
Um,
I've seen Manhunter.
Yeah, me too. I actually think
Weird.
it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
But I have those books. I've read all of those, and I like Red Dragon a whole lot. The guy's like a bodybuilder and everything.
Talking
Has
about Ray Fiennes' character.
Yeah, has a huge dragon on his back,
Yeah.
and
It's been a while since I've seen it.
it's crazy.
The only one I haven't watched was Hannibal Rising.
I watched that one too. That was more violent than the other ones. Because that was
Haven't
more of a
seen that.
modern movie. Being a prequel, they were just like, well, let's show his... And it would just show him slaughtering people. And it was like, alright. Well, I enjoyed the senseless violence. Because I got the violence that I wanted out of the old movies, I was still like, this isn't that character.
And sorry, Rob,
He's not a villain. They're not villains.
The Predator's not a villain. It is a hunter that goes for trophies. And even if you want to consider Alien vs. Predator part of the mythos,
Alien's the villain.
when the chick kills the alien, the Predator has respect because of what she did.
Right.
In the second one, when Danny Glover killed the one Predator, the Elder gave him a gun as a trophy for you. Good job. So they're not really villains. That's why they want to go with him.
Last one is Anton Sugar or Shigear or whatever from No Country for Old Men. No Country for Old Men.
That
I didn't think that would have a villain in it. I figured that was a.
is that Daniel Day-Lewis?
No, he's not in that.
Which one am I thinking of then?
This one, it's a guy. He plays Silva.
Oh, Javier Bardem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an awesome movie. It has
I'm thinking of There Will Be Blood.
Josh Brolin. Is that his name? Right? Not James. Josh.
Yeah, it's Josh Brolin.
Tommy Lee Jones is in it. I don't know who else. Woody Harrelson's in it.
I kept considering, because when I thought about it, because I did see Gangs of New York, and I kept thinking about Bill the Butcher.
I thought that I do like him. I like Daniel Day-Lewis and everything he's in because he's an awesome
Good
actor. But No Country for Old Men though, he's a hitman. Like
I can't remember.
kinda what it's
I think I
about.
saw it. I know what you're talking about. I know he killed people with that weird gun or whatever he used.
it's a bolt, like a cattle
Oh,
bolt gun. Rob's like, oh, I'm intrigued. Yeah, that's a good movie though. All right, let's move on to some questions. Do you guys have any questions? Or you just want to go through the ones I have?
Let's go through the one you have.
I've been trying to think about, and I'll do better. I've been trying to think about just generic questions to ask people, and
My favorite question,
I'm
by
not
the way, was
good
the
at it.
last one.
Oh, I know. I think
When
it'll
I
be
saw
fun.
number 3 come across, I was like, bingo!
Well, and that's I'd like to get more fun stuff, but anyway, favorite book. Come on, you had a couple
Steve
days.
Jobs autobiography.
Okay.
I just respect the guy. I think he was a brilliant businessman. And
I was going to say favorite fiction, which I guess maybe
I don't know if you ask some of the people that grew up. Anyway, I'm glad you did. I wouldn't have an answer.
not gonna lie, I haven't read a ton of things. Some of my favorites I read was the it was that 3-part Halo series about the Forerunners, but the one I read in high school that I really enjoyed, it's still good, was Of Mice and Men.
that's it.
I read it enough. I read it twice, and I think I did 5 papers on it because it kept appearing on lists to read and do, and I never read it again after that. I just wrote papers.
It's an awesome book. It's an awesome movie too. The one with Gary Sinise and John
Quaid.
John Malkovich.
Oh, I didn't see that. I saw the one with Randy Quaid and I can't remember the guy's
You
name.
guys read Lord of the Rings?
I haven't read Lord of the Rings. I read The Hobbit. But I've gone through the before Rob gets mad at me again about this, I've gone through the Lord of the Rings wiki so much I know what like the appendices and everything are pretty much said.
Yeah, so that's was like all the stuff that happens. Like none of that happens in the book. I mean, some of it.
Right. They made a lot of characters up for the movie.
Well, they changed the whole ending. Like it's a lot happier in the movie. Mine is The Old Man at Sea, which is only about 150 pages. So But I used to read all the time. I read a lot now too, but now I'm reading nonfiction. But I used to read fiction all the time because I worked for a state road. We just got to drive around all the time. So
I bought several books at Books A Million that were the $3 books.
See, I did that, and I got all of Edgar Allan Poe stuff. I got all of Shakespeare stuff.
Yeah, I got King Lear. I think I got The Tempest, a couple others, but I wanted. At some point, I'm going to read them. I'm going to start with Heart of Darkness because I ended up buying that, even though I've
I was in a
seen the
Stephen
movie,
King
but
book
everybody
club
says it's better.
for a while, so I got one every month.
Got some pretty cool Goosebumps.
Did you see where they're doing that movie or whatever for the 11/22/63?
Mm-hmm.
It's either a Netflix or somewhere, Hulu maybe. They're doing a series or like a movie for it.
It's Netflix.
Old Man at Sea, though, Hemingway, and I had to do a report, so I had to pick a book when I was in college for college class, and we actually had to try to find research and do research on it. So I ended up doing like this thing, how it related to religion and stuff like this. So I had to give like references that other people used in different ways. But anyway, the book is about an old man who goes out on a skiff and fishes and catches a marlin, and before he leaves, like, he hadn't done well, so like the whole village thinks that he's a failure now, and then he fights with this fish forever, and I don't want to ruin the book or anything, but like it's just about the ordeal, and yeah. It's about perseverance.
I did read most of, and I don't understand. There's a lot I didn't understand, but I did write a paper on it of Hawking's A Brief History of Time.
I had that, and
That was a confusing read.
yeah, it is.
I read Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe before I went into preschool and hated it. Probably because I was too young to understand it. But I read it. I could read it. First book I ever read.
There was one I had to read from my ancient history class that was about.
Boring.
I don't remember the title, but it went over like. It was we had to read each week about a different character, like one would be Theseus and other people that were technically kind of real, since Theseus did, I guess, found Athens, but I just didn't want to consider that a book because it was different little short stories about people.
Who wrote Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe?
C.S. Lewis.
What else?
He wrote that whole series. He wrote Screw Tape Letters, which was like letters that the devil wrote to his apprentice.
Oh, well. I remember reading it long ago. I've seen the movie recently, but it's pretty good. Best order to watch Star Wars films? That's an odd question, but I've seen it on Quora. I thought it was interesting.
There's the order of the more interesting to where people think it makes sense, but my best order would be to start from the beginning, because you have to start from the damn beginning. When I bought it, it relates to it. When I bought the MASH series on DVD, I got to a certain point and stopped because maybe overnights or something for work. And then when I decided I wanted to finish it because I never got to the end, I had to start the whole damn thing over again because I wasn't going to start. So you have to start episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now 7 once it comes out. If you don't go in order, there's no order, period, chaos.
It's not true. Well, since you covered that one, well, I've not watched it in the hack job orders that I see float around on the internet that people are like, watch, 3 and 4, and then watch 5 and 6, forget 1, just ignore 1, and it's like, okay, I haven't seen them. Like, I've watched them 1 through 6, I've watched them 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
Well, the way we saw them, I don't know which of the originals I saw first, but it was those for years, and then it was 1,
Right.
then 2, and then 3.
I don't watch them chronologically. Like, I don't watch them 1 through 7 because when I get in the mood to watch Star Wars, I want to watch the ones that I like. So I usually watch 4 because it's my favorite and the one that I watch the most.
That's what we grew up with. So
And then I just watch those in order, and then it's like, oh, I've watched the Star Wars. Might as well go watch the other 3.
Right.
And then I'll watch them in order. But
I was gonna say 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. This last time, before I went and saw 7, I watched them 1 through 6 again. But previously, if I'd watched them, I would watch them 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, and 3. Just as kind of like, well, the Hannibal movies, and then the prequels last. A lot of movies do that, and so I figure, that works just as well. I mean, and it does. In my opinion, you don't lose anything, you don't gain anything. All watching 1, 2, and 3 does before watching 4, 5, and 6 is make you want to watch 4, 5, and 6 and get through 1, 2, and 3 just to make them go away to watch 4, 5, and 6.
well, the thing
Or to make you completely tired of the franchise and not even want to bother with the better of the 3 movies.
Well, the thread that I was
6
reading
movies.
was talking about for a child, though. Like, if you were introducing a child to it, like your kid's first time watching it.
4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
the order they came out in.
Well, see, and the interesting thing about it was, like, they were talking about the epiphany that comes in the 3rd movie when you find out that, like, Luke and Leia, or, I mean, they're right.
Yeah.
So they were talking about watching, like, 4 and 5 first, and then watching the first 3, and then the last one, so that you can see how bad the Emperor was. My thing is, like,
You'd lose it by then, though. I would think that jump would cause you to...
my thing watching it, if you watch them in order and you've never seen them, it's like I wouldn't want to know that Luke is one of the 2 kids when I watch the next one. To me, it would be more interesting to not know that going into that movie. It's like, because then it looks like a new... It doesn't look like a continuation. Like, Obi-Wan would be the only person you know who was in the other ones. And then it's like, okay...
You talk...
You know what I mean? Like, you know about Darth Vader and Obi-Wan, but you don't know who Luke is if you don't see that scene in part 3.
So you would recommend watching 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, and then 6?
No, but I would probably watch the last ones and then the first ones. But I'm just saying, if that one scene wasn't there, I think it would be, for someone who had never seen any of them, would be a lot more interesting. Like, if you're watching 1, 2, 3, then the last thing you see is, like, her having 2 kids, and you find out that they're named Luke and Leia. So when you watch the next one, it's like, Luke appears, and it's like, oh, that's Luke from the... Where it's like, when we saw that, when it first came out, you didn't know who Luke was. And, like, you got to find out that Darth Vader was his dad and all this cool stuff.
It was a big epiphany, a big revealing.
Right.
But I don't know that there's any way to reclaim that.
What?
Well, I'm saying if you're a little kid, you'd never seen it. I would be like, okay, we're not going to watch the end of this. We're going to go ahead and turn this off now.
I remember reading a lot of the...
So your recommendation would be what? Give it to us straight.
Like 1, 2, 3, but not show that. Because to me, it's like that ruins 5. Because then you know who Luke is. And I think that the whole reason of watching like 5 and 6, like, then you find out that it's his dad, and that's a big moment.
Well,
So 1, 2, 3, cut the ending. 4, 5, 6.
when you think about it,
Go back to 3.
in 4,
That doesn't
5,
make
and
any
6,
sense.
they don't really mention, because Vader's the main bad guy. It's a couple of times mentioned. Well, it's a couple of times mentioned that he was Anakin Skywalker. So say you somehow kind of miss that. So if you watch it 4, 5, 6, then say you go 1, 2, 3. Technically, when you get to 3, it could kind of be a surprise that that's who Vader was.
See, my brain wants to put the puzzle together. My brain wants to go 4, 5, 6. There's the outline. and then go back and watch 1, 2, 3 to fill in the gaps of how this came to be, and then watch 7.
If I was trying to,
And Drew.
that's tough because I remember when the movie came out, a lot of people were talking about to get their kids hooked on it. The people that have been watching for years was they showed them 4, 5, and 6, and then it's of course people that view the prequels as not horrible but not strong. So then it'd be 1, 2, 3. I might do the same thing maybe if I was trying to get somebody into Star Wars, but that'd be iffy because nowadays with all the movies, somebody might watch Episode 4 and just be like, "Oh God, this sucks."
See, I don't think so. I think somebody has a better chance of watching Episode 4 and liking it than they do of watching Episode 1 and liking it.
But not a kid.
That's
like
true.
you have.
See, I do. I think a kid would. I mean, I'm talking
A little-
like 10-year-old.
A little kid might think like, "Hey, George are funny." No,
Yeah,
I don't think so.
no.
I don't think so. I think a kid would be like, that character's really stupid.
The only thing about watching the first 3, the major impact I think it would have would just be the fact that I think it takes the fun out knowing that those 2 children are really is
Become-
because it's like the movie we
Because
just
then-
watched where you don't know who Ray is,
Right.
and it's like
And if you didn't watch those, you'd be like, oh, Luke and Leia are in love, and blah blah blah. And then you go find out, well, that can't be because.
right.
And then you find out, oh, he's his father. Whoa. Yeah. I mean, I see that. So, I mean, I agree. I think 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
The order they came out,
Is
the
the
order
way,
they should be watched.
You could almost ignore Episode 1 and 2. They are the weaker. Episode 3 covers the main stuff.
Episode 3 covers the transformation. That's
Well,
it.
well, no, but it.
Episode 2 covers the love story. They fall in love, the turmoil it causes.
Yeah, but the whole fall in love, like, pretty much what you hear about in the old movies was about Clone Wars and Vader and all this. So Episode 3 gets into that's the end of the Clone Wars. They don't really go over the Clone Wars in the movies. You have to watch the
So
series.
2 has the Clone Wars.
The start of it. You have the start and then you have the end. Technically, that big gap, you have the Clone Wars cartoon, which fills in all that.
Well, see, I never looked at the first 3 movies as giving me a backstory for the universe. Like, I just always look at the first 3 movies as you're just telling me what happened with Darth Vader. Like,
Well, that's
The
the
growth of
point
Anakin.
right, it's just about Darth Vader.
That's the point
I
of
think
the,
everything else is just kind of filler. Like,
Everything Star
to me,
Wars
It's
is
just a setting.
yeah.
It-
Like, if you want to know about the universe, I think you're better off watching the Clone Wars and the cartoons and trying to, that other stuff, not those movies. I think, like, the driving force in that is, like, the transformation that made
From
Darth
good
Vader.
to evil, the seduction of evil.
Well, that and it's the pretty much the tale of the Skywalker clan. Because first it's Anakin, then it's Luke and kind of Leia, and now it's in the new somebody. Because they've said that the movies are going to focus around the Skywalker family. That's the whole point of Star Wars. As the Skywalkers is this big driving force in the galaxy. So somebody in that movie is a Skywalker.
All right. Last question. You could inconvenience your worst enemy for a week. What inconvenience would you give them? I was trying not to go with like missing their head or like no leg or something.
Right.
nothing.
Right.
Just like stump their toe every time they get up, something like that.
Right. Well, I narrowed it down to 2.
Yeah, I did too.
All right, we got.
1, no matter where you go, you forget your wallet. Every time. And the second one is a little grosser, and it's IBS. Just constantly in and out of the bathroom. No matter where you go. I just think that would be... I was trying to think of what would annoy me the most if I was trying to have a functional existence.
Well, what if you
going to work, going to shops, going to restaurants or something.
Well, see,
it's like forgetting my wallet would annoy me to no end to get somewhere and have to go all the way back and go again.
See, one of mine that I thought would be like always having to park at the absolute end of the furthest parking spot, no matter what.
I don't even know about the IBS part. What about where Family Guy, they went to that universe where everybody just has to poop? You just have that feeling for an entire week of having to go, and you're just like, oh God. That'd be worse. That'd be hell. That'd be absolute torture. My original was literally everywhere driving, you hit a red light, period. Like, you never get anywhere because you're just stop. You know,
Well,
just
see,
stop.
I thought about getting it. You're in traffic.
That's what
All
she said.
time.
You're always behind.
Yeah.
You're always stuck behind someone driving slow.
Yeah.
But my other would be because me getting that ticket would literally, every time you leave the house, whether it be 3 times in the day, every time you start driving, you get pulled over. And just inconvenience for like 10 minutes while they're doing that. Go home, leave again to run off the hill to go to Go-Mart, pulled over.
I was going to say, no matter how short or long of a distance it is, before you get to where you're going, you get pulled over. All right.
I was thinking like no thumbs, but I didn't know if that was too big of a.
Well, that's part of your no head for
monkey man.
No head for a week. Like
I thought about like maybe they had to start every sentence with the exact same thing. Like, I'm a liar. Hi, I'm so and so. I'm a liar. Whatever.
Right. I mean, we kind of do that now. Like
I'm not a liar. Do the sex offender speech. Hi, I'm blank, and I'm a convicted sex offender.
Yeah, that would be funny. I have to just constantly start with something.
I just pooped my pants. Do you have a napkin I could borrow? You just did what?
I just pooped my pants. Do you have a napkin I can borrow? Are you serious? I just pooped my pants. Why aren't you listening to me?
That would be kind of funny.
Running out of gas every time you leave the house. It might be a bigger inconvenience than getting pulled over. If you actually get a ticket every time, then it wouldn't.
Right. At the end of that week, does debt go away?
No, it's forever.
I was thinking things like every day your fingernails grow really long, and you have to wake up and like cut your fingernails every day, and like or fingernails and toenails, and then you like catch them on socks or something like that. Like
mine was always stuff like around like every time you get ready to take a bite of food, the phone rings. Like there's not someone there. It's just that's the inconvenience. Every time you get ready, the phone rings.
Or that, or just every so many steps or something, you fall, you just trip, or you're stub a toe. Like every time you get up to move, it's ow.
Every time you go into a room, flip a light on it, burst the light bulb.
God, that'd be awful when you go to work. Just flip on, turn on the building, and like every light busts. Like, oh God. That'd be hilarious. Start your car, both headlights go out.
If you have pets or something you're passionate about pets, you wish that person, every time their pet eats, it throws up. They have to clean it up.
Every time they touch it, it throws up.
Every meal they eat that week's their least favorite.
Yeah. All their bread is stale automatically.
Or you could just say everything they eat for a week tastes like shit.
Literal?
Yeah, literal.
I wouldn't. No.
Yeah, this is what you would wish on your worst enemy.
Health nut. Everything in their kitchen's always replaced with like candy and sweets.
Keys are lost every time you get ready to leave.
Yeah, can never find them.
Or always lock your keys in your car. No matter where. You're like, oh, no.
They can always have a flat tire.
Credit cards always decline.
I see. To me, it'd be more of an inconvenience. I just leave my wallet at home.
No, I mean, I was just trying to think of things you would do daily that's like, and that's why I was like, every time you get up, you stuff your, you stuff your toe.
Every time you go to sleep, you wet the bed.
That's a good one. Something that you would do daily, like
instead of getting up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, you wet the bed. You're just like, shit.
Like every time you go to the bathroom, the toilet overflows. Something like that.
Yeah. No reason, just the toilet overflows. Yeah. No hot water, ever. There's never any hot water.
Well, like every day when you brush your teeth, like the toothbrush breaks. Like something that's like, well, every day
Cotton
for a
comes
week.
off of every Q-tip.
Every time you get your toothbrush falls in the toilet. Something bad. No.
Every time you take a drink of water, you spill it down.
Yeah. I have a drinking problem.
Like I have to drink every day, and this is what I'm doomed to do for the next 7 days.
Like psychopaths. I don't have a worst enemy. I don't have anybody.
Me either.
In real life, I know I hate Tim Tebow with a passion, but I don't have somebody that I like.
I just like Fetty Wap.
I don't have somebody that when I go to Walmart I might see and it's like, I hate him so much. I don't have an enemy.
No pillheads at Walmart?
He's not my enemy. I try not to think of him as a person.
Alright, like I said, we're going to try to get next week's topic up, and that way we can get some input. And if we have something like, what would you wish upon your worst enemy, we might get something cool. So, and then we can discuss if there's anything that stands out, and it'll give us something to talk about that includes everyone who...
If any of our loyal viewers would like to contribute to that question or the topic, feel free.
Yep.
Say, what are your 5 favorite movie villains? Let us know on Facebook, on YouTube, some way. Twitter, even.
Yep.
Let us know. Give us some input. If you've got an idea for a topic next week, what would you like to hear? Like, hey, what are your guys' favorite this or least favorite that or whatever? Shoot it. Give it to us. And we'll discuss it and probably bring it up next week.
Yep. So, all right. Thanks for joining us for an hour.
Thank you for joining us, J Money. You can catch the full episode on YouTube and iTunes and all that good stuff.
Later.
See you later.